Everyone is speaking out against this as a struggling player got called out by a reporter after game one of the Blue Jays series, and people are up in arms about it from every different angle. We'll break down this latest controversial moment and dive deep on the struggles for the Yankees so far and what the implications are with the deadline fast approaching. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Yankees Digest, giving you guys a daily dose of Yankees content every day of the week. And if you guys are not subscribed, if you are a part of that 76% who aren't subscribed to these videos, what are you guys doing? Grab that popcorn, grab those drinks, and relax and watch these Yankees content as we give you videos every day of the week. Me and Chris just hit 8,000 subscribers on this channel, so we really appreciate the support. But subscribe, comment down below to join in on this conversation. But let's get right into this video as talking about the man of the hour, Oswald Peraza. And Peraza has had a whirlwind so far of a 24 hours after game one of the Blue Jays series, as he flat out did not execute so far this season and during game one, where he had that costly error that led to a breakaway for the Blue Jays to end up winning that game. And it in these big division games, in these big games in the season in general, those are things that are just unacceptable from a position that the Yankees are truly desperately needing, and they just need a little bit of a break right now. Oswald Peraza is not providing that, where he's more of a defensive player than offensive player, and then that costly error is just really jabbing in the back of the necks of Yankees fans, because he has been a consistent liability on offense. And now that we're seeing the defense struggle now, it is something that we don't really want to see. It's just very frustrating from a Yankees fan, seeing that the third baseman spot is just, it's a consistent reminder that the Yankees should have filled in a position at third base, a stopgap solution that they didn't, and they overlooked it, and they're paying the price here going into this trade deadline season. But going into that question and that controversial thing that's going on with Oswald Peraza, he was asked by a reporter after game one, saying that a lot of people have been waiting for your career to take off. You see talent, you see glimpses, and it really hasn't happened yet. There's a lot of reports that the Yankees are going to trade for a third baseman at the deadline. Do you hear that? Is that disappointing? How disappointing is it to feel that you haven't been able to really take this opportunity and make the most of it so far? This is the question to Oswald Peraza after game one. And I really feel that there is two things to this question. Obviously, when you're hearing it from face value and you're just reading it, it can come off a little douchey. I will admit it. It comes off a little douchey, especially with a player who is not really wasn't really projected to be the starting third baseman of the Yankees, just kind of a stopgap solution. But on the other hand, on the other side of the coin, this is the third baseman position for the New York Yankees. And if you're not performing on offense and you had that costly error on defense, it's completely warranted. This is the New York Yankees. This is the New York media. You have to expect it. And it's definitely something the reporter didn't say anything that was wrong. He didn't say anything that was out of line and out of pocket. But it's just something right now that he's just asking a simple question to Peraza, just seeing where his head is at. And that's the job of the reporter. That's the job of us, that we're criticizing the players, because the Yankees fans and the Yankees organization have that championship or bust mentality, and every game, especially these division games, mean the most. And Oswald Peraza definitely did a good job in answering that. I will just give you guys what he said to that question. He said, "I understand the numbers are not exactly where I want them to be, but I focus on the work and trust the work and keep doing it every day. As far as trades, it goes back to what I mentioned. You have to focus on what you're doing on a daily basis and focus on the things you can control." And that was Oswald Peraza answering that question. And yeah, just looking at his stats so far this season, it's just been abysmal. It's been utterly abysmal. 3 home runs, 150 average, 13 RBIs, 212 on base percentage. I mean, I mentioned it before, just an offensive liability and someone who he's had enough at bats now at the major league level that this is just very inexcusable. I mean, these are looking worse numbers than when DJ LeMahieu was coming off the injury last season. At least DJ LeMahieu was batting at the Mendoza line. He is way below the Mendoza line right now, and he has not been able to figure it out. And it's so frustrating because it's just every day is just ticking, 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 ticking until you can get to the trade deadline. But these are important games. You got the Phillies coming up. You got the Tampa Bay Rays coming up. You're already going into the Blue Jays series a little bit cold. So you got to take advantage of these opportunities that you have right now, or you could be looking up at the division. So definitely very frustrating when talking about Oswald Peraza and his lack of production. Just something you don't want to see from the third baseman of the Yankees. And just looking more on his stats so far this season or so far in his career. He started off hot with a 306 average in his little short stint in 2022, but he's just been kind of up and down in AAA. But, this season has just obviously been his worst, and he has just not been able to figure out. And it just seems that he is going to be traded in the near future. But what do you guys think regarding Oswald Peraza? Do you think he just hasn't had a fair shake in New York, or is it time to just ship him off and get someone in here? Well, the Yankees are going to have to get someone in here to replace Peraza. But moving over to something more, just a little bit more on Peraza regarding Caleb Durbin, where the Yankees traded Caleb Durbin for Devin Williams. This is staggering when talking about this. Caleb Durbin was supposed to come in here. He was that top prospect for the Yankees. He really did well in the Arizona Fall League, and he has just been performing at a pretty good clip at Milwaukee. Nothing spectacular, but when you compare it to Oswald Peraza, he is light years ahead because 264 and 5 home runs, 35 RBIs, along with 9 stolen bases, and he's only a rookie, so he's doing way better than he was projected to be coming up in Milwaukee. So definitely the Yankees haven't been able to get that stopgap situation for third base, something they really need to address at the deadline. But moving to the manager, Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone was on Talking Yanks today, talking to Jimmy and Jake, just the struggles that are going on for the Yankees and just the New York media. And I wanted to share a little bit more on what Boone had to say, and he was very frustrated with what's going on with the New York media. Wanted to share this with you guys. He said, understand the pestering, bantering, leading questions that are being asked of our guys, a fired up Boone said, and I don't want them to just fly off the handle and be emotional. We've been pretty good over the years of compartmentalizing and dealing with the everyday grind of the regular season and playing in New York. And you start getting emotional and going down that road. It's a bad trait. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bad trait. And the thing is, with the Yankees right now, when you're struggling, we just don't want to hear the same thing over and over and over again. We don't want to have these guys just keep saying that it's a long season and we're just going to get through it. I mean, that's not what we want to see. We want to see some accountability. We want to see some accountability with these guys, and it's just very frustrating that every single time that these guys like Aaron Boone get up there and they defend Anthony Volpe and Oswald Peraza, saying that they're just getting through it and they're they just made like a couple bad plays. It's not going to resonate well with the Yankees fans. I understand that you're trying to be good to your players and be a coach, but you got to have some accountability, and that's just something that we're going to see as fans. We're going to take that at face value, and we're going to run with it. So definitely something just needs to change, and it's definitely going into the culture of the New York Yankees that right now they just got to get into that groove. And it just seems like with the errors, the constant errors and the constant base running mistakes for the New York Yankees so far this season is just not seeming like they have been in a groove at any real point this season, and they've just been falling off the wheel right now, and something just really needs to change. And that goes into Brian Cashman for this deadline. I mean, this deadline is huge. This we've talked about deadlines in the past, how they have been huge, but this 2025 deadline is just going to see how the Yankees are going to do moving forward. Are they going to have stopgap situations? Are they going to go after the big meal ticket with Suarez from the Diamondbacks? Are they going to try to get a bona fide star reliever, or bona fide star starting pitcher? Or are they just going to get some guys who could just be stopgap situation, low risk, high reward players? Definitely going to be interesting for Brian Cashman and the Yankees. And a little bit more on just a possible solution for the Yankees to do is IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa from Ryan Garcia. He said is not a game changer, but if you have to settle for him at the deadline at third base, he is so much better than Oswald Peraza. Peraza is not skilled and possesses poor baseball instincts. So when moving to these guys like IKF, I definitely feel like that could just be a pretty respectable option. I know he's already had time here in the New York Yankees. He's not going to be that big ticket like Suarez, but you're going to have to give up a lot more to get Suarez than for IKF. So definitely the Yankees don't want to give up too many of their top prospects for someone who's only going to be a rental. But that is something that I just am interested in, what the Yankees are going to do at this third base spot. But that is going to do it for another edition of Yankees Digest. I really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me and Chris on this Yankees Digest channel, and we really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me. Subscribe down below and comment down below to join in on the conversation. But that's going to do it for another edition, and I hope you guys have a great night, and let's go Yankees.